Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. So what I'm going to do today is another project that I've started, which in reality is not a project, but fixing a mistake. I made this bangle. I love bangles. Who out there loves bangles? I absolutely love bangles. For one, I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s. I was a child, and all the ladies that I looked up to wore bangles. Everywhere you went, you heard click, click, click from these clanging bangles. And so I thought it was the greatest thing ever. So it means something to me, but I also like them because I'm lazy. And you don't have to work with a clasp. You just slide them on and off and head out the door. That's good. I made this one for myself. It's a nice silver, it's pattern on it. And I just fell in love with it. When I saw this wire, I thought, I'm gonna make a bangle out of it. So I tried and made a huge mistake. I cut the shank too small. And so when I soldered it together, this happened. Yeah, so this is not a bangle for me anymore. I've been kicking around ideas of what to do about it. I hammered it and tried to stretch it out. And I actually have gotten it to stretch out. As you can see here on my mandrel, when I first started, it was at this level, 6 3/4. And then as I've hammered it, I've gotten it down onto the lip of 7 1/8. But it's just still not big enough. This is a bangle that I made years ago that does fit me. It's just some copper wire with Amazonite beads. And it goes all the way down almost to 7 1/2. So that's closer to the size that I need. I have some ideas. I thought of this at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know how you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you start thinking about things going on in your life and in the world and start problem solving? Well, this was one of my 4 o'clock in the morning moments. And I'm really excited for the fix. So that's what this segment is all about. It's about when you make a mistake, what do you do to fix it? Do you toss it, or do you just go back to the drawing board and try something else? That's what I'm gonna do today. So come along with me if this is something that interests you. So my first step is going to be to open this back up again. So I have my saw and I have this stuff. I don't know what it's called. It's what you put on, like you just kind of run your saw across it. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. I cut through, which I showed you guys, and then I drilled 2 little holes through the end of the bracelet. What I'm gonna do right now is take my file and kind of smooth out those edges so that they're not, well, edges, because that would neither be attractive nor comfortable. So I'll be right back. All right, so I finished drilling the holes, as I said earlier, and I just finished just filing down these edges so they're nice and smooth, because they were super, well, you know, from being cut by the saw, they were super rigid. And I went ahead and polished the outside of the bracelet while I was at it. What I'm gonna do now is I can see that it will, at this size, fit across my hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add this red line agate to the bracelet with this 18 gauge sterling silver wire. Okay, so I had to make a couple of changes because the red line agate that I was using, it was making the bracelet too big. So I switched it out for this muakkite stone. I only had the one left, but I love it. So now, there you go. I'm so happy with how this turned out. You know, sometimes ideas you get at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're not really bad ones. So it took me some work to figure out. One of the things that I was struggling with originally when I made it with the other stone is I had cut my wire too long. So then when I was trying to loop it down to go through the holes, it was bending and it was kinking too much, and then work hardening as I was trying to twist it around, and it just, yeah. So that was my first mistake. I'd cut my wire too long. But so then with this one, I made sure to cut a much smaller piece, closer to what I thought I would need in the end. I have the tendency to either cut things too short or too long the first time through. I'm working on that. And with this one, I went ahead and just cut what I thought I would need, and it was perfect. I only had like these little pieces of, you know, leftover trimmings. I love this bracelet. It's going to become one that I wear all the time. Thank you guys for watching this with me. I know I didn't show you, I didn't record everything that I did. I'm sorry for that. It's just, I've never done this before. This was my first time through. I didn't know how long it would take or if it would even work. But I am really happy with it. One of the things that I'm gonna do differently is to drill the holes. I didn't really have the right tool, to be honest. So I'll get the right tool and then I'll do another one. And I have some other ideas of how to attach the stone, but I'm just so happy. Come up with something, then please go to your bench and work on it and put it up and tag me, and I would love to watch what you create. Thanks again. Bye.